See, I'm I'm a rookie in this, okay? Can you hear me now? Toxic banana. Can't hear you, can't hear you. I can't hear you. What about now? Can you hear me now? Can you? How about now? My bad, my bad. Okay, like I said, I've never done this. Whew, that's a lot of people jumping up. I figured I might get like thumbs down, boos, and I'm just gonna go with it, all right? So, anyways, let's say you're pre-puberty. For girls, that could be anywhere before 10. Sometimes girls go through puberty a little bit later. If you're a boy, boys can go through puberty all the way up to like, age 14, 15, 16. And so if you're doing an expander at that age, right, you're trying to make things wider. Maybe you have a crossbite or maybe you just got a narrow arch. Can you hear me now still? People are still saying they can't hear me. How about now? This is the first time I'm using a mic. Happy birthday, Mia and Georgia. Still nobody can't hear me? Still nobody can't hear? Doesn't look like I'm on mute. Now? Man. Let's try this. Nobody can hear me now? Can anybody hear me now? I'd like to move forward if people can hear me. Okay, so we got some people that can hear me. Right? So you want an expander. If you're pre-puberty, you can do two types of expansion very predictably. One, you can get a palatal split. After puberty, right? You become kind of an adult. Your bone here, it starts that fusion process and it makes it harder to split. So everybody's talking about, hey, as an adult, I need to do expansion. And the reality is you can do expansion. Everybody's teeth can move to the side. You can make it wider. That's with braces. That's with an expander. That's with clear aligners. You can do all those things. But what's harder after puberty is getting that split down the middle. All right. That's really hard. And that's where surgery might be helpful or like the screws might be helpful. So anyways, expander at a specific age, between 8, 7, and 10, 11 years old, usually that's a pretty predictable way to get a split and spreading of teeth. If you're after that, post-puberty, then trying to get a split down the middle is unpredictable. And if you have like a major crossbite, then trying to do just an expansion with, expander or braces, that's kind of tricky. All right. So anyways, that's an expander. What about the Herbst? Okay, we're getting to this. I saw somebody ask about 17 with an overbite. We're going to get to this. So the Herbst appliance or MyoBrace or Invisalign for overbite, when is the good time to fix this? If you are going through puberty or right before puberty, that is the best time to try and fix major overbite. So using a Herbst to kind of posture forward, or MyoBrace or Sleepo-Brace or Invisalign with rubber bands or their mandibular advancement feature, right? That's the best time for most predictable outcomes. Well, looks like we've lost everybody. And John here can't hear me still. All right, I'm going to try this, John, since you're the one, you're still here. Let's try this. I'm going to get rid of this. Can you hear me now? John? Can you hear me? Nothing? Yeah, I'm trying to do something. You can't hear me. Okay, well, anyways, we've been talking about different things. Do they work? Expanders, the Herbst appliance, Invisalign, rubber bands, like when do they work? The best time for a lot of these things is during puberty. If you're an adult, you just can't rely on the same kind of growth to do an expander, to do the Herbst, to do the MyoBrace, to do Invisalign for major bite correction, overbite correction. So it's not that these things can't move teeth or affect things. When you're an adult, it just is different and maybe less predictable. Okay, so that's the first thing. That was just a question. if you're this age, do expanders, herps, all those things. Age can affect mostly growth status. Okay, anyways, let's go to the next one. I had an somebody comment online. It's your favorite experience. Got braces today, and when I was eating a burger, one came off. What happened, and what do you do? Well, in a situation like that, for this individual, if you break a bracket off, sometimes we get braces on for the first time. Either a lot of braces are going on and there's just spit that's getting onto your teeth, and that can influence the ability of the bracket to stay in place. And then sometimes, though, we got to be careful about what you're eating because you can break brackets off. So hard, crunchy, sticky, chewy, those are things that you probably should just be careful or cautious about. All right, next one, I had a guy, John Stew, 4150. He made the comment. He was watching one of our videos about Bite. So the Bite, the straight-to-consumer, direct-to-consumer product, kind of like Smile Direct Club. He was like, please just get to the point. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out how to be good at making videos and get lots of different advice. But I wanted to show this, okay? We're going to go through Invisalign versus Bite, okay? And I've got it pulled up here. So Invisalign mostly is through a provider like a dentist or an orthodontist. An orthodontist is a dentist, just they took extra training, several years of training to become certified as a dental facial orthopedist, definitely a teeth straightener. But Invisalign has been around a long time, and what Bite has done is a direct-to-consumer product. They've tried to go straight to, I'm going to show you my screen right here, they tried to go straight to the consumer, essentially. They still work with, I'm going to scoot this back, they still work with dentists, but I wanted to bring up, this is the first part of the, the website. When you get here, this is important. This is somewhere where Bite has come around from. They used to just, everybody thought that you could just straighten teeth with whomever and whatever trays. This is an important thing that talks about the safety at the center of Bite, right? And they're basically saying we, right here, during review and discussion of a subset of medical device reports related to our Bite Aligner product and through our communication with the FDA, we have determined that our patient onboarding workflow may not provide adequate assurance that certain contraindicated patients do not enter with Bite aligners. So this is kind of a big deal. This is kind of a big deal because, Bite patients, people think that they can just get, their teeth straightened whenever and through whatever means necessary. And the reality is that there are some patients that they're just not good candidates. And some people think that you just get this product and your teeth are going to just magically be perfect, like the exact same that you would with braces or by going through an orthodontist. And that, unfortunately, is a little misleading. And so I think that's kind of where they're getting at, this Bite. They're going through this period of, hey, let's reevaluate and see how things are doing. And so now if you go back to Bite's main page, right? So they have this part right here, indications for use. You've got to have all of your 12-year molars in. That's what they're going to recommend. They talk about this positions teeth by way of continuous gentle force. That is so common. Like, that's just orthodontic know-how, whether it's braces or whether it's aligners, like, Bite, you're trying to use continuous force. Contraindications: if you have active periodontal disease, this is fantastic. Severe open bite, severe overjet, right? So if your teeth are like way out in front of your top teeth are way out in front of your bottom teeth, or if you have an open bite where your top teeth kind of sit up like this, and tooth malocclusions require surgical corrections, patients with mixed dentition, so no kiddos. Yeah, this is great. This is helping people understand more of what they can accomplish. So I think that's really important. So when it comes to Bite versus Invisalign, it's really not so much about the plastic. There's been no research that shows that either plastic is better than the other. I think it comes down to the provider. You could have somebody who is an awesome provider in Invisalign, and they probably could do some similar things with the Bite product, except just that the Bite product doesn't go through most likely it doesn't go through really experienced orthodontists. So what they do instead is they go to folks that are a little bit less experienced with tooth movement, the dentist, the general dentist, and I think you got to be careful about that, because you may end up not getting the information that you need. You kind of come in, hey, Dentist says, I need you to move, you can move these teeth, it'll be good for you, but you know, what can you accomplish? Maybe you don't know what those things are, so you just gotta be careful. It's gonna be cheaper, Bite's probably gonna be cheaper than Invisalign because Invisalign is going through an actual dentist, you gotta come in person. Bite is very convenient, that's a plus. But as far as getting results, if you really want to get your teeth to not only be really straight, but to fit together really well, as a stable bite, then Bite may not be the right option for you. If you already have really good bite and your teeth are mostly straight, then it could be a reasonable option. The reality is that any sort of tooth movement could influence your bite, change things, and then you may be in a bad spot. So as long as you have this information, I think it's good. So my opinion, you know, obviously Invisalign versus Bite, it doesn't even have to just be Invisalign. There are other clear aligner products that you can get through an orthodontist, and it really comes down to the provider. If the provider doesn't know what they're doing or how to use the clear aligner, then you may not get the results that you want. Nobody's perfect, including me. We try our best to get good results and learn the different technologies in order to deliver the best results to you. So, all right. So sorry, John Stew, 4150. That I took so much time. Hopefully that was a little bit better. In my opinion, you go with an in-person provider, whatever the clear aligner product that they're using, whether that's Bite, Angel Aligner, Sure Smile. There's other different products. The direct-to-consumer product like Bite or Smile Direct Club is definitely convenient, definitely cheaper probably, but as far as the outcome, you just got to be careful that you're going to get what you want and you get a full evaluation before you move into tooth movement like that. Okay, finally. Well, that's a bunch of stuff there. Like I said, I've never done the live video before. I've watched the number of people go up and down. Is John still here? Is John still here? He was the one that kept asking, can't hear her saying, I can't hear you. The people in here right now, I've got one, Stella Clark Spent. How many push-ups can you do? It's not related to orthodontics, but right now I could definitely do 30 at one time, maybe 50. And Stella says, hey. Nicole Tolfson says, hey, hello. Anybody have any questions? Anybody still here? Anybody have any questions? If not, no big deal. I'll just give us a second if anybody has any questions. Okay, can Invisalign, this is great. Can Invisalign make the chin more prominent if the patient has flared teeth? Okay, so are you talking about your top teeth or your bottom teeth? Flared means your teeth stick out like this. Usually, a chin becomes more prominent. This is your bone, and a chin becomes more prominent as the actual jaw comes forward. Or if you surgically, take the chin and you move it forward. Teeth being flared doesn't influence the actual position of the chin. Now that being said, if you have teeth that are flared and then you tip them back, your lips may go back, and so then in relation to your chin, it may appear that your chin is more prominent. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question, Devilish? So I guess actually the other question is, can Invisalign do that? Well, if Invisalign can pull your teeth back, it can do that if you have space. And if you pull your teeth back, then related to your lips, your chin can appear more prominent. Hopefully that answers your question. Any other questions? We got a second viewer here now. Kind of gone up and down. Any questions? Any orthodontic questions? We just finished talking about some different things like, we get asked questions all the time about, is this a good age to do this? Is this a good age to do that? We talked about that at the beginning. Expanders, rubber bands, herps. There's all sorts of other things. Myo brace, what's a good age for those things? We also talked about, you're just getting braces on, you have a bracket that breaks, what do you do? Sometimes those things happen. And then at the very end, we talked about the difference between Invisalign and Bite. They're two clear aligner products. And they both can be straighten your teeth, and it's really not a question of which plastic is better. All the different plastics out there that are moving teeth can move your teeth if you wear them well. I think it really comes down to the provider choosing somebody who has lots of experience with plastic, and so Bite probably comes up a little bit short on that just because you're not working with somebody who has a lot of experience there. Any other questions? Just checking it out. Anybody have any comments? We had another guest added. Any comments? I'm gonna close up shop here in a minute and a half. Had some guests show up, a couple minutes. I'm getting ready to close up shop. Anybody have any orthodontic questions you're just dying to know answers to? We're having a little open consultation. Maybe you've got some teeth that are crooked or a bite that needs to be fixed. You want to know your options. Well, thanks everybody who tuned in. That was kind of a rough little go, but maybe we'll try this again and see if we can come up with some other things to discuss that are helpful, answer some questions. So, okay, good luck everybody out there. Oh, well, hang on, he's coming back here. Okay, so, well, thanks, CG. Hopefully it's helpful. Or maybe you're just saying this is great, like, because this guy's just making a fool of himself here. But, okay, back to this question. Does flare teeth always require extractions? No. It all just depends on what you're trying to accomplish, okay? If you're trying to get your teeth to come back a lot, then you need a lot of space. And one of the best, easiest ways to make space is to take out a premolar. Each premolar is about 7 millimeters. And so if you take out a premolar, that's 7 millimeters on each side, that you could then take all these teeth and try to pull them back. That's a lot of tip back space. Even then, to get all those teeth to come all the way back and use up that whole 7 millimeters, that's really tough. And so you usually only get like part of that. But usually extractions help your flared teeth come back more than just IPR. Widening, if you think about it this way, if you widen if these are your flared teeth up front and you widen your back teeth, those front teeth can come back a little bit, but again, it just depends on how far you can widen them, how much space you can make so that those teeth can come back. All right, so we're still here. CG, when my wisdom teeth were removed, my entire jaw started collapsing essentially, and now I'm on Invisalign again. Yeah, so wisdom teeth, what they've learned is that wisdom teeth aren't like a primary or a sole cause to changes in your mouth. Wisdom teeth come in people around the time that we might experience like some late growth in our jaw, a little bit more significant than just what happens over our adult period. And when growth happens, if you don't have something that's holding your teeth, then it's going to move a little bit to try and accommodate all the different changes that are happening. So there are people that have their wisdom teeth in that don't have crowding. There are people that don't have wisdom teeth that do have crowding. So retainers at this point seem to be the key. And sorry about the TMJ problems. Not everybody experiences though. Depending on I'd say that there's different possibilities for TMJ problems, or like different causes, or it can be all combined. Some is muscular. People that are under a lot of stress tend to squeeze really hard, and it can cause facial pain that way, and potentially damage their joint over time. But what they've kind of learned about TMJ related problems is that if you they can come and then they go away over time. And so they recommend that you watch out for, doing things that are irreversible. Like, don't necessarily just like go have surgery on your joints, thinking that it's going to solve all your problems. I guess it could, but you definitely want to make sure that what you're fixing is the actual problem. The other possible problems for TMJ would be, not just muscle, but bone, sometimes nerve related. So there's just different things that can influence how your TMJ, right? Everybody has TMJs, but disorders of the joint. And so you try to do things that can help you avoid the pain first before you do something crazy, and then hope that it goes away. But sometimes it's just so bad that you kind of try all those different things, and then you move on to the more invasive. So. Yeah, referred pain. You have pain in other areas, and if you're squeezing here, you can get referred pain to different areas of your body. So that doesn't seem crazy to me either. Sorry about that. But if you're trying to figure things out, one of the things trying to eliminate things, you could consider going to get to decide, mostly if it's between muscle and an actual bone or ligament problem, is you can get injections in your muscles to see if the pain goes away. If the pain goes away after you get the injections, then you might know it's more muscle related, and you gotta watch out for those things where you're just squeezing all the time. Good questions. Any other questions? So for anybody that's new here, a couple people, this is just an opportunity. If you have questions to ask, we've already gone through a few things that I was going to go through in this experiment live. I've had a few questions. Devilish is back now. I'm actually a little worried about sunken face that sometimes happens after extractions. I did braces, but it resulted in flaring in the lower and upper sides. Classic. That's a non-extraction treatment, and anybody who has crowding generally gets that flaring because the teeth have to go somewhere to try and fit in. So especially if you have lots of crowding, those teeth are definitely going to go forward. It's one of the easiest movements, a tipping movement. And so you have crowding, and in order for it to spread out, those teeth drift forward. More than likely, depending on which teeth you take out, you're taking out, if you take out these premolars, the first premolars, that is more space closer to where you want to change. So if you want those teeth to come back, then the closer you take out those teeth, the more likely they can influence, like these teeth can be influenced. If you take out premolars that are further back, then it's harder to get these teeth to change as much. So if you're just looking for a little bit of, tip back, taking out premolars that are further back can help with that if you're really worried about the sunken in face. But, usually the sunken in face is for folks that already have lips that are flat. And then if you take out teeth at that point, if you're not very crowded, then yeah, maybe the teeth can go in and the lips can sink in. But For individuals that have flared teeth, you know, you bring those back a little bit, and your lips might come back a little bit, but more than likely they're in a forward position. So you may not see. Not everybody that has extractions needs to be worried about sunken in faces. I'd say one of the sunken in faces looks comes from those individuals who are basically, they have excessive overbite like this, where their top teeth stick out way in front of their bottom teeth, okay? And their lower jaw is back, all right? But they don't want surgery, but they want to fix their bite. Well, the only way to fix your bite at that point, if you're not willing to do surgery, is to take out the top premolars and pull those top teeth back. Well, then, yeah, now your lower jaw is already back and you're bringing your upper teeth to it. And so in that sense, it's more likely to see a sunken in face because you're trying to fix a surgical problem or like a bone problem by just bringing the teeth back. But that's the only way to do it if you're not willing to do surgery. Okay, here's another question. We're staying here a little longer than I thought we were going to. I have braces and they are to correct an overbite. Is it okay to do face pulling to get a better jawline? Okay, face pulling, like the idea of sticking your thumb up in there and trying to pull forward. You know, depending on your age, one of the biggest things with any sort of growth and development, you see the most change in bones when you see the most change in bones and facial features in the fastest amount of time when you're going through puberty. So 15 years old, maybe. Some boys go through a little bit earlier. Maybe you're right in it. And so right now your bones are probably the most, facial bones are probably the most, you can manipulate them the most predictably. That being said, and so anything that can provide a force, an adequate force over a long enough time can, in theory, have an impact on your bones and your teeth and their position. But as you get, the reality is it's hard, and that's why orthodontists look at devices that are stuck in place or that can apply continuous force, continuous light pressure, and that usually leads to the most change. But even then, it is challenging to see dramatic changes in facial features the outside of, like, you can't get the same kind of results by face pulling as you can through surgery. Like those type of movements, it's just, those are huge. So face pulling, it has the potential to be more effective when you're younger, but in my opinion, I wouldn't put much stock into it as far as trying to really accomplish these huge changes. Yeah, I mean, if you have braces and you want to stick your thumb in there and just kind of, it's probably not going to, like I said, it's probably not going to do much. As long as you're not putting your fingers on the braces and you know, or risking breaking things, yeah, probably not going to do much. Again, just speaking generally here, it's probably going to be really hard to get your fingers in there all the time. Does that answer your question? I think it's okay to do. If you have a provider, you could ask them, but you know, the idea of trying to pull your upper jaw, I mean, you don't want to pull it too far forward, right? Because then your lower jaw is back. The trick is, how do you get both forward? And the reality is, the only way to really do that and to get it to stay forward is surgery. That's like the most predictable way to do it. All right, we're just answering some questions here. Been around for about 30 minutes. I think I'm looking to close up shop. Thanks for those that have come. Maybe you can find me another time. Good luck in all you're doing with your braces. You're straightening your teeth. Stay close to your providers, your orthodontists, and hopefully you can get the results that you're looking for. Thanks, everybody. Let's see if I can end this.